Hey guys, so this is 6 full days that Zeus has been here, and he's enjoying his bath once more. He took a nice long drink of water when he got in. He's been doing really well. He's been taking drinks out of his daily bath, and then he's also taking drinks twice a day out of the sipper bottle that I give him, so he's hanging in there. And since he's doing so well, I'm going to try to go ahead and actually give him a bath today while I have his syringe feeding warming up over here. And guys, if you ever have to give a supplemental feed to a reptile, try to heat it up if you have any way of doing so. If you're mixing it fresh, you can add warm water to it and that will make it warm. If you had it in the refrigerator overnight like I did, I microwaved some water to make it warm so it will be warm when he eats it, because remember that reptiles are ectothermic and they have to warm up from the outside in, and it doesn't take much to really bring down their temperature. So if you can give them warm substances, it will help maintain their temp. So today I'm going to try to give him an actual scrub. I wanted to wait until he had as much as he wanted to drink, so he wouldn't be drinking when I was actually bathing him, because you can see this area here, he's got dirt on his little face, and his arms have got some dirt and some on his legs. So this is just a comfort measure. I'll be using a soft toothbrush. This is brand new. Each of my dragons have one. This will be Zeus and Zeus alone, so we don't have to worry about, spreading anything or anything. And I will be using Dragon Wash, almond scented. I get most of my supplies from beardeddragon.co, not .com, but .co, because they specialize in products just for bearded dragons and other reptiles too. But I've had really excellent luck with all of their products. They've been really good. My dragons are long-lived and healthy. So this Dragon Wash is all natural, and all of the dragons seem to like it. It's almond scented because they're only 3 scents: almond, lavender, and tea tree, which I didn't think he wanted to smell like, really. So we're going to be using almond today. So I'll give you some of that view as I am getting ready to go ahead and bathe him. He's been really great. I haven't weighed him since the last time I weighed him, you guys, when he was up to the 256, but I'll tell you, he's eating right along, and really, even the diarrhea is improving. It's not fantastic, but it's improving. It's kind of, instead of being just, and I know this is TMI for all of you non-reptile enthusiasts, even though it's better, it's kind of the consistency in like paste when we were in kindergarten. So let's see how we do. I put the Dragon Wash on here, but you can see all of this that's coming off. A lot of this is, stuck shed, dirt, debris, whatever was in his tank when he got here. He is really, see what I mean about how patient he is? He's just such a great guy. He's not giving me any grief. I'm fairly certain he never had this happen before, but he's building a trust with me, and it's kind of cute because he is his enclosure is sort of not exactly right next to my bedroom, but it's on a little ledge that I have right outside my door. And so he's, and his enclosure is about a 65 or 70 gallons. So some of it leans over and is in the doorway of my room. And so he's to the point now where he will look for me. If he hasn't seen me in a while, he'll come to the end of his enclosure and come look for me and try to see if he can find me. I don't know if he's worried, since I'm the only one that's taking care of him because of the quarantine measures. I don't know. It's okay, buddy. Does that feel weird? I don't know if he's worried that I'm going to leave and then what will happen, or what's going on, but it's the cutest thing ever. I have to tell you guys that. I mean, it's just really cute. So, as you can see, quite a bit of this dirt and debris and what all is coming off. I suspect it's going to take a couple of bathings. I don't know how old it is, and I don't know if it's some of it's staining. Some of it might even be old burns from whatever the light source, the snake light that he had. And the areas that he's trying to shed are going to be more sensitive until they actually do complete the shed. So if at any time he gets really fed up and makes it clear that he is not interested in continuing, totally fine, then I'll stop. My goal is not to cause him, you know, further discomfort. I'm just trying to do some cleaning that I'm hoping will just make him feel better overall, get some of the grime off. You know, they're clean animals by nature. They like to be clean. So I know that this is probably miserable for him. But, you know, we'll at least get the top layer of crud off, and just maybe, you know, he'll feel a little bit better. But yeah, like I said, you can see what a little love he is. He's, you know, never having done this before. He's only been here a little less than a week. You know, having been through what he's been through, and he trusts me totally. Like, you know, there's no angst with him. He's kind of like, okay, if you say to do it, and I'll let you do it. So you can see, I think most of this is going to come off. That's been on his head for quite a while, which will be nice. Because like I said, I have no idea what it even is. I don't know what got all over him. I don't even know if it might have been an injury, or maybe he was trying to get out of his tank to go find food, or I don't know what's going on, but obviously it doesn't belong there. So right now we're just doing, hey buddy, we're just doing what we can to make life a little better. You want me to get under there? Okay, bud, I'll happily do that. So in addition to his syringe feeds, he is still trying to take in some bugs, which has been working out fairly well. Okay, is that all about all the fun you want to have for today with this? So, you know, he's been doing excellent as far as, he's not real interested in the roaches. I suspect it's probably that he didn't have very many. At least that's my guess. So he's, you know, more interested in the worms. But I think it's also partially, even though he's got much more energy now than he did when he got here, I think he's not really interested in chasing something that's as fast as the roaches. So, but, you know, I do try to get them in because they're a better food source than the worms. I do not feed crickets for a variety of reasons, especially to a dragon that's been sick or injured. So he might recognize those if they were here, but they're not going to be here. He's going to get better sources of food. So that's what's happening. So I'm going to let him finish his bath. And then I'm going to go ahead and video the syringe feeding and show you guys how well he's doing. And bless his heart, remember when I showed you in the prior video that he really didn't know what to do with syringe feeding? Well, he has figured it out, guys. And he is more than happy to give it a shot. And it's kind of cute, the way he found it out. Sorry, I keep getting out of focus, guys. It's hard to video with one hand. He found out how to syringe feed by watching Ruby and Merlin eating. They're all within view of each other, which is not ideal. But, you know, I'm kind of limited in how many rooms I have and where I can put them. And I need to monitor them so they can see each other. And Finn is in my bedroom in his enclosure, so he doesn't, you know, isn't subjected to everybody, and they're not subjected to him. But he learned by watching Ruby and Merlin and what they did, and he was like, okay, I'll give that a shot. I mean, these are really intelligent animals, you guys. So, yeah. So anyway, we'll be back in a little bit when he's finished with his bath and he's ready to eat. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye. So, Mr. Zeus is officially out of the tub now. And we have some more scrubbing to do. You know, it's going to take a few more baths, but as you can see, he has a lot more energy than he's had up to this point, so that's a good thing. So while I have his towel, I'm going to take the opportunity to go ahead and feed him. Now, this is a supplement, a supplemental food source. I've added more calcium, more of a multivitamin, and starting yesterday I put probiotics in it. So that now that the diarrhea is getting better, I want to make sure that we put back some of what he's been losing by having such terrible diarrhea. So if you have to feed a reptile, you know, you have to syringe feed him. Make sure you get one that slides back and forth easily, because I had one that kind of wasn't when I first started doing this with Finn, and I couldn't get it to squeeze, and I squeezed it and he got a whole bunch all over his snout, and he looked at me like, really? Is that the best you can do? It was a problem. So get one that you can manipulate. Okay, when you go to feed a reptile, sometimes they'll start eating and sometimes they won't. I mean, he's had this a couple times, so he knows what it is. But per usual, here's a taste. Good boy. So today I don't have to try to force it. What you would normally do, though, if you had to, I know, good boy, Zeusy, is you would open the side of their mouth and just put a taste in there, just squeeze a little bit, let them taste it, and then offer it in the front of their mouth like I'm doing now. And hopefully they'll eat it on their own. There's very few times I've had to give a supplemental feed or even a medication where they wouldn't eat on their own. You have to remember, though, you don't want to force any into the front of their mouth, because the opening to their windpipe is much further forward than it is in other reptiles, or even for humans in that matter. So you don't want to accidentally have them aspirate something and then get aspiration pneumonia, and then, you know, that'll do that, especially a sick dragon, that will just do them in. So you just kind of slowly, as their mouth opens, you squeeze a little more, and you squeeze a little more, and if they're a good boy like Zeus, they just go ahead and eat it. He's still, you know, trying to eat his regular diet. However, because he's still, you know, having some diarrhea, it's not fully formed, you know, stool, I'm going to go ahead and continue to give him this supplement a couple of times a day, along with a couple of feeders, which right now I'm just using as a reward system, and he's fine with that. Until we can get to the veterinarian on Friday, this coming Friday, because not only is he so low on nutrients, but I want to make sure that, you know, this is easier to digest than the feeders. So we're going to do this first, and then I'd like to cut this down to once a day eventually, when he's able to really eat more and keep it all down and not have diarrhea. Then you know, this will just be a supplemental feeding, and then maybe once, a couple, 2-3 times a week, and then taper it down until he's just back on a regular diet. So, but that's going to depend a lot on Mr. Zeus and how he, you know, handles things, and if he continues to gain weight like he's supposed to, and all of those things. I'm willing to do it as long as he needs it, so that's okay. But for a guy who's never had a syringe feeding, he caught on really quickly. Another nice thing about syringe feeding, and you know, you can even do this if you have a dragon that just fights you tooth and claw about eating their vegetables. You could put them in the blender with a little extra water and, you know, syringe feed them a slurry of greens, or greens and bugs ground up, if they're off their food in general for some reason, and you syringe feed it. The nice thing is, because, are you finished? Because, yeah, he did really well. Because it's in a syringe, you can measure, okay, you can measure exactly how much they're getting and how much you're giving them. And so it's easier to, like, I record what I'm doing with him, because number one, I have to remember 4 dragons who all have individual needs at this point, and so I need to know who I did what to last. And also because you can bet me when I go in to take him to the vet on Friday, they're going to ask what it's been like. What did he weigh when you got him? How long have you had him? You know, what did he eat, etc. Okay, you know, did he keep it down? So now in here, I have some super worms. I've already calciumed and vitamined. And this is his reward. And you can see he looked at them because he's already interested. And I'm so proud of him because he learned how to eat with the tongs after just, you know, watching the other dragons, which is kind of amazing. And, you know, we love that. So let's see. Let's get a medium-sized one. Look, Susie. Would you like this worm? Would you like this worm? You see him? Here he is. Well, if I could hang on to him, you could eat him. Come here, wormy. Here you go, big man, look. You want this guy? Get that guy. You want to get him, Zeus? Do ya? Here. Here he is, Zeusy. Here he is. Do you want this worm? After I just talked about how well you eat off of the tongs, and now you're going to say, forget it? Yeah? Are you too full? It's okay if you're full. Or do you want a bigger worm? Sometimes he holds out for bigger worms. What can you say? He likes the juicy ones. I've been trying to find him some that are recently shed so that they don't have the kitten, which is their exoskeleton. They just have the meaty part because that's really what he needs. And that way he doesn't have to work really hard, you know, to eat them. Whoa, what do you think, Susie? Are you just full right now? Okay, well, you don't have to eat it. We can eat some later. Yeah, totally fine. See, look, we got all of those you can pick from, so it's not like, you know, you're gonna go without. Yeah, are you looking at them? Is there one you like in particular? Not really? Okay. So we'll have to get that on camera later on. But as you can see, he's doing really well. You want some more? And I'm hopeful that we just keep going and he keeps gaining weight, that will carry him through some of the hard part until we can get to the vet, who will likely give him, I'm not sure what. I know for sure they're going to want to give him probably an antibiotic, probably some Sylvadine cream for that area under his tail, which I'm happy to report. I'll show you guys in just a second. When he first came, you might remember in the first video or second video of him, that he had quite the sore building up. He had quite a scab. And so that scab is now healing up, mainly because the diarrhea is less acidic and more alkaline now because of the nutritional help. So the scab has pretty much gone away. It's still got a little bit of area of scab that's coming off, but you know, you can see how much better this area is. The scab was right here. And so now the scab is just, you know, kind of peeling off each time he has a bath. A little bit more goes. So we're still going to check it for yellow fungus when we get to the vet. But that is a wonderful thing for him because he's a lot less uncomfortable without having that pain under his tail. And I'm leaving it alone except for the daily soaks because I want the vet to you know, see if he needs some kind of an anesthetic or something to help that be less painful. Right, Susie? Yeah? Where are you going? Where are you going, young man? But I'm really proud of his progress. He is trying very, very hard and, you know, is trying to be cooperative, you know, as best as he can. Hi, sweetheart. And so you know, he's doing everything he can to try to get well. So I'm doing everything I can to help him, and hopefully at some point these pubic bones here, his pelvic bones, are not going to be sticking out. This should be nice and round. You should not be able to see a pronounced spine. You shouldn't be able to see his pelvis. His sunken in fat pads on his head should be looking like little mountains, not like little valleys. So I'm hoping that that's going to be the case, and then we'll be able to assess his back legs to see how bad his MBD is back there when he gets a little more meat on him. Right now, all of his limbs are kind of squangled. So this one is locked at the elbow, but it's locked in a functional pose. If it was going to be locked in any way, this is the best way, because most of what he's going to do, he needs to be in this position. So that's okay. You know, you can see like here, you know, his legs get into some really interesting positions, but that's all right. Adds character. So he's a good boy. He likes it when I sing to him. It calms him right down. So, you know, we're just going to keep at it. But he's doing okay, guys. He's coming along. If we can try to keep the diarrhea under some level of control, and as long as he continues to eat, because everything he eats, it doesn't matter if it's a meal or a treat or a supplement with a syringe, it's all extra vitamins and calcium and probiotics. So as long as he keeps eating it, he's going to keep getting nutritional value. So, hi, sweetheart. So that's all we have to do is everybody cross your fingers that he continues to eat and continues to be a good guy and doesn't have yellow fungus. I don't know what's going to happen if it turns out he's positive for yellow fungus. He really needs to be fostered, because with the other 3 dragons in the house, even with the protocols in place, it's hard to maintain a sick, contagious animal in a rescue environment. The problem is it's hard to find a foster in normal circumstances, and these are not normal. He needs very specific, specialized care. So I'm just not sure what's going to happen with my little man here. But we're going to make sure that he is taken care of one way or another, because he has fought too hard and come too far for any other outcome. Yes, he has. So we will keep you guys posted as we go along. But yeah, this is day number 6. And he has just been a very good patient, and we're very proud of him. Yeah. Also, one thing I wanted to remind you guys, they had him on Repticarpet. Not a fan of Repticarpet, because it's a material that's absorbent, and it's basically impossible to clean. So you can clean it up as they use the bathroom on it and all of this. Eventually, it's going to smell, and you're going to change it and have to get new carpet. The problem is, in the meantime, what's causing the smell is the breeding bacteria inside the Repticarpet. So, you know, here I only use paper towels as substrate because I have sick and injured. So often I have to be able to tell what's happening, if they're throwing up, if they're having diarrhea, if they're not eating, or they're eating something partially and spitting it out. I have to know all of that. Well, the easiest way, and I need to keep them clean, so the easiest way is with paper towels, because then it's a matter of cleaning up the paper towel, using the disinfectant, putting down fresh. So, but you can use tile. You can use linoleum. Tile is nice because it keeps their nails a little bit ground down if you use that. But you want to stay away, really, unless you have a bioactive terrarium setup. You'll have to decide for yourself if that's something you want. It's not for me, I can tell you that right now. But if you're not going to have bioactive, you want to have an easy to clean substrate. I do have, Zen Habitats makes a thin cushioned mat type liner for the bottom of the enclosure. I do have that in Finn's enclosure for a couple reasons. Number one, he's developing some arthritis in one shoulder, and he's flipping himself over for reasons nobody can figure out. So I want him to have a softer landing because he's got, you know, some stuff happening. Other reason is because he is fully potty trained and will not go in his enclosure. He will drive you crazy tank surfing to get out. He will not go. He might go as soon as you pick him up on you, and you know, that's on you because you should have taken him out earlier and gotten him in the bath so he could go. So I don't have to worry about it. He's had the same one in there now. Next month will be about, I think, 14 months. So we're a little over a year. Never once has he gone on it. So, you know, lucky in that regard. So, you know, you have to decide. But for this guy, I think that a lot of this dirt and scabs and things that were developed on him were probably from being on Repticarpet. So, just wanted to let you guys know that. So yeah, that's kind of all there is to syringe feeding him now that I'm able to bathe him and he's not giving me any grief about using the soft toothbrush. A couple more days, if everything keeps going according to Hoyle, I will trim his nails and, you know, just comfort measures, because part of rehabbing an animal isn't just getting the basics ironed out and giving them whatever extra treatment they need, but remembering that they've been suffering and in pain and hungry and miserable. And so part of it has to be comfort level. You know, he gets, at night when he goes to bed, this is his blanket. All of the dragons have a blanket. You know, you just cover them up. Yeah, for the night. He loves his. He stays under it all night. Some of the dragons flip the blankets off and then get down and lay on the blanket, which is fine too. Or they can crawl out from under it if it's summertime and they're warm enough and they don't need it. But, and this is just a microfiber towel you can get at the 99-cent store, Dollar General, whatever you have, that you normally would use to wash your car. Perfect, perfect, perfect dragon blankets. So I cannot tell you enough how great it is, hi sweetie, to be able to get real inexpensive. I put their blankets in their carriers when I have to take them for comfort, to keep them calm. I also put a heat pad in between the layers so that when I put him in his carrier, he has heat on one side and cool on the other side, just like his enclosure. So, you know, I try to maintain what they need and their comfort as much as I possibly can. So when he goes to the vet on Friday, we will take his blanket, we'll put the heating pad in. Yeah. Eventually I'm going to make him a sweater. Right now he's too thin even for a sweater. So, you know, we'll just keep the heat going and keep him comfortable. It's also a good barrier. So, you know, since I don't know how extensive his care is going to need to be and whether or not he has something contagious at this point, if I need to weigh him, you know, I can take his blanket, put it on the scale, weigh him, then use disinfectant cloth, wipe down the scale, get the next one and their blanket out, weigh them, so there's no cross-contamination. So that's just an easy way that, you know, you can do it. So, yeah, he's coming along, guys. I just wanted to give you an update and, you know, thank you guys for following his recovery, which I hope will continue to be a recovery. Also, when you pet a dragon, and you can, you know, they like it for the most part, you can pet them. When you get around their head, in the very center of their head, which is hard to see with the naked eye, you can see it, but it's very small. They have what's called a parietal eye, which is how they sense heat and light. So, try not to touch the very center of their head. You'll notice when I pet him, I pet around it. I might pet this side, I might pet this side, I might pet his neck, but I don't go directly in the center. So, you know, again, it's a comfort measure. You're not going to ruin anything or cause any grief if you do go over it, but just for their level of comfort, you know, remember that that's a sensor for them. It's another reason why you never want to use heated rocks for bearded dragons, because they cannot gauge how hot something is underneath their body. So it's been many a dragon that's had burns on their underside and on the inside of their legs and under their tail because they were on heated rocks, which, okay, they can tell it's heat, but they can't gauge the temperature unless it's coming from atop them. So just remember that. If you like to dress your dragons up cute like I do, remember you don't want to keep that spot covered for more than 15 to 20 minutes at a time, because you can also have, if it's covered too much, they can overheat, because again, you're blocking the sensor. So just remember to be careful. Okay? All right, Zeusy. Tell everybody, hey, thanks for watching. Have a good rest of your weekend. See you soon. Bye, guys.